Welcome, bonsoir. Ceci est la réunion mensuelle du conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc, lundi le 16 octobre 2023. This is the regular monthly council meeting of the city of Côte Saint-Luc for Monday, October 16th, 2023. I welcome here at the podium, we have Councillor Lior Azrad, Councillor Andy Schuster, Councillor Oren Sabag, Councillor Mitch Kajowski, Councillor Sidney Benizri, Councillor Mike Cohen, and our city manager, Jonathan Schechter. Also, Florine Bougny is here as well, and Daryl Levine. Thank you very much. I would appreciate and want to acknowledge the President of Public Security and VCOPS. Thank you very much for your presence, and for those residents who are in the audience. It's going to take a few minutes before we get to question period. We just have a few preliminary remarks. The first is the territorial acknowledgement, and Daryl Levine will play the video with regard to the territorial acknowledgement. Thank you.
Justice, devoir du souvenir, liberté culturelle et inclusion sont des valeurs chères à la ville de Côte Saint-Luc. Nombre de nos résidents et leurs descendants ont construit leur vie ici, après avoir fui des situations difficiles ailleurs. Le Canada a été leur refuge. Mais pour les peuples et les communautés autochtones, les politiques gouvernementales au Canada ont créé des injustices. L'île de Montréal, où nous sommes réunis aujourd'hui, porte un nom beaucoup plus ancien, Chauchagay. C'était un lieu de rassemblement historique pour de nombreuses communautés autochtones. C'était aussi un lieu de diplomatie où a notamment été signé le traité de la Grande Paix de Montréal. Nous remercions la nation Gagnougéaga, également connue sous le nom de nation Mohawk, pour son hospitalité sur un territoire non cédé. Nous devons reconnaître le passé afin d'avancer avec un esprit de collaboration et de réconciliation. Justice, remembrance, cultural freedom, and inclusion are important values to the city of Côte Saint-Luc. Many residents and their descendants have made their lives here, having fled dire conditions elsewhere. Canada was their refuge. But for Indigenous peoples and communities, government policies in Canada created injustice. The island of Montreal, where we are meeting today, has a much older name, Chauchagay. It was a historic gathering place for many Indigenous communities. It was also the site of diplomacy, including the Great Peace of Montreal. We thank the Gagné-Gahaga Nation, also known as the Mohawk Nation, for their hospitality on unceded territory. We must acknowledge the past so that we can move forward in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation.
Merci. Before we start the meeting formally, I would like to make a few comments about the situation that we are experiencing presently in Israel and also in the city of Côte Saint-Luc. I will ask Councillor Sabag to make some remarks. He can do it now or he can do it during the departmental reports, but I want to start with the following. I'm going to ask for a moment of silence, but before I do, just want to say the following. La semaine dernière, à la suite des attaques terroristes à grande échelle du Hamas, les habitants de notre ville se sont vus rappeler une fois de plus que la terreur et la haine sont une réalité pour les Juifs en Israël et dans le monde entier. Au fur et à mesure que les noms des victimes sont révélés, nous apprenons que de plus en plus de Canadiens et de Montréalais ont été directement touchés. We know that many Canadians and Montrealers directly impacted, including the family of Alex Look, who was brutally murdered along with 1,300 other Israelis, mostly civilians. And now, in light of the war against Hamas, civilians in Gaza are also in crisis and under threat. Our own twin city of Ashkelon has been subjected to hundreds of rounds of rocket attacks and direct hits. On behalf of the citizens of Côte Saint-Luc, the Mayor of Côte Saint-Luc has written to the Mayor of Ashkelon to offer our support and solidarity, and we will be sharing more information about this effort as we make further contact with our counterparts in Ashkelon. Furthermore, last week, the Mayor of Côte Saint-Luc, in the name of the citizens and the council, added his name to a statement of the demerged cities of the island of Montreal, the ASM. Je veux lire maintenant juste un paragraphe de cette déclaration. Le Hamas détruit tout espoir et tout effort en faveur d'une voie calme et sage vers la sécurité et la prospérité dans la région. Il ne rend pas service aux populations qu'il prétend défendre, mais promeut plutôt les intérêts, promeut plutôt les intérêts de régimes et de forces terroristes qui ont leur propre agenda. In English, Hamas is destroying all hope and effort for a calm and wise path towards security and prosperity in the region. It is doing a disservice to the people it claims to defend, but rather promotes the interests of terrorist regimes and forces that have their own agenda. So in light of what we all know are these atrocious and horrible attacks and the victims on both sides, I will now ask for a moment of silence for all victims of Hamas terror in Gaza and in Israel. Thank you. Merci. The question period will be preceded by an explanation of the rules regarding the questions. We're going to have questions in person and written questions as well. So, Mr. Levine, are you going to read the rules? Pardon? Oh, you're going to play them. Okay.
La ville de Côte Saint-Luc permet aux résidents et aux non-résidents de poser des questions en français et en anglais lors des séances du conseil. Toute personne souhaitant poser une question doit, au début de la séance du conseil, remplir le formulaire à cet effet qui se trouve à l'entrée de la salle du conseil. La période de questions d'une séance du conseil est limitée à 30 minutes, mais elle peut être prolongée sous réserve de l'approbation de la majorité des membres du conseil présent. Compte tenu de cette limite de temps et du souhait de permettre au plus grand nombre possible de personnes de poser des questions, chaque personne dispose de 3 minutes pour poser une question et une question de suivi au maire. Avant de poser une question, chaque personne doit indiquer son nom complet. Après la discussion des points à l'ordre du jour, il y a une deuxième période de questions. Au cours de cette deuxième période de questions, les participants peuvent uniquement poser des questions sur des points à l'ordre du jour. Finalement, personne ne peut utiliser un langage violent, offensant ou irrespectueux lorsqu'il adresse une question au maire. The Côte Saint-Luc City Council allows residents and non-residents to ask questions at its council meetings, in French and English. Every person wishing to ask a question in person must, at the beginning of the council meeting, fill out a question period form, which can be found at the entrance to the council chamber. The question period at a council meeting is limited to 30 minutes, but may be extended, subject to the consent of the majority of members of council present. Given this time limit, and given the desire to allow as many questioners as possible to ask questions, every person has 3 minutes to ask one question and one follow-up question to the mayor. Prior to asking a question, every person must state their full name. Following the discussion of the council agenda items, there is a second question period. During the second question period, attendees can only ask questions about items on the council agenda. Finally, no person may use violent, offensive, or disrespectful language when addressing a question to the mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to call out the names of the residents who would like to ask questions. The first one is Norman Sabin. You can approach the mic, Mr. Sabin. Thank you very much. The mayor is absent tonight. He's indisposed, but he's asked me to replace him. I'm the deputy mayor, so I'm conducting the meeting. Thank you.
Good evening. I just want to preface this question by saying that I don't want to sound very negative or histrionic um, or overly dramatic, but vis-a-vis the conflict in the Middle East, there's been a lot of hate expressed in the Montreal area by various groups. It's a bit concerning that if things get worse in the Middle East, that you never know what's going to happen, and Côte Saint-Luc could be a target of some sort of an action by some people. My question relates to evacuation routes. It's possible that, if you were somebody who wanted to hurt the people of Côte Saint-Luc, you would, try to block both the underpasses at Cavendish and Westminster. And again, I don't want to be too dramatic about this, but nothing's impossible. And I wanted to know whether there was a plan, that we had evacuation routes that people could get out of Côte Saint-Luc relatively quickly. I know there's an evacuation route at Wallenberg and Cavendish. There's one at, I think, Bailey and Glencrest. There's Westminster North where the CP yard is. But this all requires the cooperation of CP. Is there a plan just in case we would need it where we would have quick, safe evacuation from Côte Saint-Luc? Is that sort of something that we were thinking about a little bit? And again, I don't want to be too negative, but anything is possible in the coming weeks. Things could get very ugly. I think it's something that we need to be.
Yeah. We
prepared
understand the question, and I would tell you that we do have this emergency plans, and we have emergency evacuation routes. We have all that in place, and we have an emergency protocol. I'm going to allow Councillor Orensy-Bag to answer your question. Thank you.
So thank you, Deputy Mayor. In terms of the evacuation routes, you're right, you've named a few. There's one more, I believe, on the end of Blossom that's there as well. All of them, except for one or two, require the coordination with CP. Our Director of Public Safety does communicate with CP on a regular basis, and it is something that CP would do for us in a expedited fashion. So a halt of the operations done for cause. So yes, there is a component that's operational and logistical in nature, but like any evacuation, whether it's a tornado in the Midwest or it has to be organized a certain way, and we're prepared for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sabin. Thank you, Councillor Sabag. Mr. Robert Gordon, you're next. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. You're well aware of my crusade to have Hampstead stop dumping their snow in Côte Saint-Luc. My question is, will the councillors finally show their support with our citizens instead of our neighbor? The vote is tonight, correct?
The vote is tonight, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Well-
so your question will be answered when the item comes up on the
Yeah, no,
agenda.
I know. Okay, well, hopefully you guys will support us instead of our neighbor.
I think we are always looking out for the best interests of Côte Saint-Lucers, including you, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sam Hashem. Hello?
Hello. Last month, me and one of my fellow lifeguards, Jean-Nicolas, we came to speak about the wages at the pool
Right.
being too low. First-year guards are being paid 42
Yeah,
cents.
I think, and I thought about this a lot since the last meeting, I think this is it's a human resources issue. It's not really an issue that should be brought up at a council meeting. So we heard your question. I don't know what the follow-up was, I have to be honest. But that is the route to go through, your direct, through the people who you work with and who you answer to, because it's an employer issue.
I understand. Can I ask, last time we did also ask the city council if there was anything else that can possibly be done? There's really only talking to HR, right?
Well, in my view, that's really what should be done. I'm looking at the minutes from the last council meeting and I'm sure that there was some follow-up with our Human Resources Department, but I don't think that this is an issue that should come to council.
Thank you.
Just to add, Deputy Mayor, I believe that the lifeguards are unionized, so there is that pathway to explore. And I have referred other employees to the Director of Recreation and the Director of HR.
Okay, thank you very much. So there's no further questions from the floor. I'll take questions that were written in. I don't have the copies of the questions. Maybe Florine, you're going to read the question? How many questions do you have?
Just one question.
Just one, okay. And then I think that Councillor Sabag will be in a position to respond to that question. I believe it's about security in Côte Saint-Luc.
So the question is from Ms. Liane Barsky. She asked if, as a result of the war in Israel and the hate that has surfaced around the world, other than increased patrolling, is Côte Saint-Luc looking at other measures to keeping its residents safe?
Okay, so is Côte Saint-Luc looking at keeping its residents safe? I think Councillor Sabag has a lot to say about that, so I will pass it on to Councillor Sabag. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So obviously we've, seen what's going on in the Middle East. I think we've all felt it a certain way, whether we're reading or hearing it on the news or through social media. The number one priority is to keep our residents safe. And this has been, it's not because there's a war ongoing with Hamas that I say this. I've always said this throughout, whether there was flooding or different types of racing or traffic issues. I've always said that our residents are the safety of our residents is the number one priority. To that end, and I'll answer this question by reading a letter dated today by La Police de Quartier Neuf and Commandant Stéphane Desroches wrote it today to the city, which I'm going to read out loud. I do have my regular departmental report where I have a few thoughts as well, but I thought it would be poignant to read the letter as an answer to that question. So, dated today, events in the Middle East by Commandant Stéphane Desroches from Porte de Quartier Neuf. Dear members of the community, the events of the recent days in the Middle East continue to generate tension that have repercussions at home. However, I wanted to confirm to you that we have no incidents to report where the safety of the population was compromised. Montreal and Côte Saint-Luc lives up to its reputation as a tolerant city. As part of a few isolated and apart from a few isolated incidents, all gatherings took place peacefully. In this context, the collaboration between the SPVM and local stakeholders was greatly noted and appreciated. We continue to follow the evolution of the situation with great interest. Our visibility plan is still in place around places of worship, as well as other places of interest of the communities in question. Once again, we ask you to be vigilant and not hesitate to report any threats, hateful comments, or other unusual behavior. The mission of the SPVM is to serve and protect the population. All reports received will be treated with the utmost seriousness. If necessary, you can contact your neighborhood station at 514-280-0109. You can also share information anonymously by calling Infocrime Montréal at 514-393-1133 for any emergencies. Do not hesitate to call 911. Thank you all for your usual cooperation, and it's signed by the commander of Station 9, Stéphane Desroches. So I will mention quickly that this is the ongoing efforts between the city of Côte Saint-Luc and Police de Quartier Neuf. to continue having high visibility in certain areas. We've increased patrols as well. I'll talk about this a little bit later. But I am also happy that we have a united council that can act swiftly when we need resources for our public safety. So I want to reassure everybody that we continue, no matter what, to put the priority of our residents at the highest priority right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sabag. I just want to add, because the mayor is very insistent on this point, and I'm doing it, in fact, because I believe that he's absolutely correct. The mayor and the councillors have received a lot of emails, messages. They've noticed on chat groups, they've noticed it on Facebook. If you see something, and this is a message to all the residents of Côte Saint-Luc, you must call 911. Calling your city councillor, putting it on a chat group, going on Facebook, this is not going to get the results that we want. You must call 911. This is the most important thing you can do. And once we call 911, the police have it on record. And if 2 or 3 or other people, call in, then there's going to be, the necessary follow-up, even if it's one call. So we repeat this over and over again. We have been in direct communication with the police chief of Montreal all of last week when those rallies were going on, and we were quite concerned about, the pro-Hamas rallies. We were in direct communication with the police chief, Dagger of Montreal. He reassured us, and our own commander here in Station 9 also reassured us. We have their full collaboration. So be assured that this is what the council is doing. And if you see anything or you know of any incident whatsoever, please call 911. Thank you. To the adoption of the agenda for the meeting of October 16th. Mr. Cohen, would you propose the adoption of the agenda?
Yes, Madam Deputy Mayor, I so move that we adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Perfect. So seconded by Councillor Schuster. The agenda is adopted. You have the agenda at the back of the room if anyone is interested in following the agenda. We should have done it before the question period, but we are doing it now. That's fine. Trop tard, trop fort, casse pas. Anyway, approval of the minutes. Councillor Cohen.
Yes, Madam Deputy Mayor, I so move that we approve the minutes of the Côte Saint-Luc City Council meeting of September 11th, 2023.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Schuster. The minutes are approved. All those in favor? Approved. Thank you. Business arising from the previous council minutes. Any business arising? I see none. Government correspondence as well. There is no government correspondence to deposit. So we move on to the monthly departmental reports and the councillors' reports. Councillor. Yeah. So what you want to move the monthly department reports?
Yeah.
Yes. Councillor Schuster moves.
The monthly reports submitted for September 2023 be and are hereby approved as drafted.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Sabat. No. Sabat. No. Azra. Sorry. So the floor is open. Any councillors want to discuss the monthly departmental reports or give an update on their portfolios? Councillor Cohen.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. First off, I want to congratulate Peter Lepare from IGA Côte Saint-Luc, who is this month's Spotlight on Local Merchants, basically our merchant of the month. And first of all, I do most of my grocery shopping there. I know Councillor Kajewski worked very closely with him during the pandemic. I know Councillor Burko cherishes him as a business constituent. I think we all adore Peter Lepare. And so I went to see him the other day. Prior to that, of course, we honored Mark Ore from Maxey's at the Cartier Cavendish. And I just want to say that we started when the mayor gave me the portfolio of local commerce. You know, some of what I'm doing with this portfolio is not for public consumption. It's talking to businesses in Côte Saint-Luc, getting feedback on what they like, what they don't like, what we can do for them. But the public part has been honoring one every month. And I must say how touched I am with how good it makes them feel. I went to Maxey's the other day, and Mark Ore has had people walking in and out and congratulating him for 2 weeks. He's been there for about 30 years. He said he's never felt better about himself since that happened. He's got the plaque hanging right near his cash. And I think we're doing a really good thing by, for the first time ever, recognizing our businesses. We're open to hear from the public if they have any suggestions. And of course, I know members of council have provided me with recommendations. And so Peter Lepari, you'll see it. It's on our website under, just go spotlight on local merchants. There's a photo of myself with Peter and a video chat with Peter as well. So we look forward to seeing who will be the merchant of the month in November. It's a very suspenseful moment for all of us. I want to also say that thank you to engineering for the speed bump that was installed on Merrimack Road. We've been asking for something like that for a number of years. A lot of people go around the bend on Rembrandt and they start speeding on Merrimack near the entrance to the park. They've done a raised crosswalk speed bump. So it's been very well received. So thank you very much for that. The Côte Saint-Luc Cats Committee is having a raffle right now. This is how we do our fundraising to bring in extra dollars. There's just been an influx of homeless cats and cats that need to be spayed and neutered. And people could go to, if you go to the CSL Ideas, you'll see the blog post that I added. People could go to cslcatraffle@gmail.com, and through e-transfer, they could buy a raffle ticket. There's a lot of terrific prizes up for grabs. Tickets are $15 for one, $25 for two, and $50 for five. You could get a 2-night stay at the Embassy Suites in Old Montreal. There's a number of other great prizes out there, so please contribute and help us with the cats. And I think we're going to be forming a new committee, the Côte Saint-Luc Ducks Committee. I don't know if anyone's been following the CSL Ideas, but we've had a duck that has been stuck in Trudeau Park for the last couple of days. He's got an injured wing, and we did have our animal control company. They spent several hours. They couldn't catch him. They couldn't get him. This morning, I went at 8 o'clock to Trudeau Park, and there was an entire entourage of volunteers, including some off-duty SPCA people, trying to find the duck. And I'm waiting for a report. And they're very caring individuals. But all kidding aside, I spoke to one of our residents, and we're looking at creating an umbrella animal protection committee. Because yes, we take care of cats and dogs, but there's a lot of other animals that. And the duck, I remember a couple of years ago, what was it, a turkey that we had walking around Côte Saint-Luc? I think, you know. And one last thing I will say is something very scary and frightening happened this morning, and I hope Maitre Schechter will pass this on to our public security. We were looking for the duck, and somebody had set a fire near the sculpture park in the woods at Trudeau Park. And it looked like a brush fire, looked like one of those fires they set in the show Survivor. And it was just there. And Cheryl Vigderhouse was with me, and she was wearing her billy boots, and she stamped it out. And with what we saw last summer with the wildfires, I don't know who did this. It was purposely set with paper, and God help us if that would have moved onto one of our trees. Who knows? So I don't know who did this. I don't know why, but they obviously did it sometime in the middle of the night or very early this morning. And clearly whoever did it on purpose. So I would ask Maitre Schechter if public security can make some rounds in that park where the woods are at Trudeau Park, because someone is doing something very sinister, and that was frightening for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cohen. Next call upon Councillor Oren Sabag.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. So as part of my departmental report, monthly departmental report, I wanted to bring up a few points that I wrote down. So in these trying times and events abroad, as they weigh heavily in our hearts and minds, and as the city councillor with the public safety portfolio, I want to ensure everyone in our city, and I want them to feel safe, secure, and supported. I understand concerns to many is predominantly with the Jewish community as the recent developments of this war unfold. Firstly, I want to extend my gratitude to our local police force, our VCOPs, and our public safety agents. They've been doing an exceptional job, always working diligently to ensure the safety and security of our community. And in light of the current situation, we have been, as Deputy Mayor Burku mentioned, in close contact with and communication with Station 9, as well as the new chief of the SPVM, Fadi Dagger. I'm pleased to announce that we've increased and seen a number of patrols increase as well in sensitive areas to provide added layers of security, even though we have been told that the threat level in Côte Saint-Luc remains low. That being said, I urge all residents to continuously vet the information that they consume in an age where misinformation can spread very rapidly on social media platforms, WhatsApp groups. It is of paramount importance that we seek the information that is reliable and unbiased as a source. It is easy to be swayed by emotionally charged headlines through, like I said, social media and other communication applications. It is also crucial that the community stay well informed. So look at different ways to get the right information without assuming things are factual. So what can you do? First of all, again, like I said, stay calm and informed. Always ensure that you have accurate information before drawing any conclusion or take any action. You can participate in gatherings and peaceful gatherings. Remember that most people attend demonstrations with peaceful intentions. However, there will always be a small fraction with an agenda that don't align with ours. Do not let their actions or words deter you from expressing your belief peacefully. Finally, report suspicious activities. If you witness any suspicious activity or feel threatened in any manner, do not call your city councillor, do not post it on Facebook, call 911 for it to be immediately sent to authorities. I want to close by reminding everyone that the city of Côte Saint-Luc is a city of unity, respect, and mutual understanding. We'll continue to uphold these values and ensure the safety and well-being of all our residents. Thank you, and may God bless Israel.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sabag. Any other councillor? Yes, Councillor Schuster.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I will lighten it up after that. My summary from Recreation. After a 4-week shutdown for seasonal repairs, cleaning and maintenance, the Aquatic Community Center and Gymnasium reopened on September 18th, and fall programming is well underway as well, with the usual array of fitness, aquatics, sports, fine arts, and other offerings to help distract Côte Saint-Lucers who probably really need it right now. Some people have inquired about why the outdoor pickleball has ended as of October 15th. The pickleball court at the sports annex uses a product called Pickle Roll that requires some time for cleaning and storage, and the process is quite involved. To maintain this equipment, it requires special care and machinery, as well as certain weather conditions to ensure that this carpet-style flooring is rolled up properly, fully dry, and so it's not too cold, so we don't risk cracking or damaging it. Some exciting upcoming events. Halloween is just a few weeks away, and Recreation has 2 events on Sunday, October 29th. Halloween on Ice is at the Samuel Moscovich Arena. from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., $5 entry fee or free for fun card holders or those in costume. Then from 5:30 to 8 p.m. is our second annual, hopefully annual, Enchanted Forest, where you can experience an illuminated forest adventure with magical creatures and photo ops, a little bit of magic. This event is free. It's rain or shine, and it's at the back section of Trudeau Park. November 9th to 12th, we'll see our Côte Saint-Luc Dramatic Society's Senior Summer Works, now I guess Fall Works, production of Ointment the Musical, which is a musical parody of Grease. It features 20 cast members ages 55 to 89, plus 2 younger performers in 5 performances at the Harold Greenspan Auditorium. And this delightful one-act musical parody will have audiences swaying in their seats to the tunes you all know and love, but with a clever twist. Recommended for ages 8 and up. You can purchase your tickets at csldramatic.society.com. As always, I'd like to thank Directors Ziga and the entire recreation team on helping our residents stay active and entertained for better mental health and physical health. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Schuster. Anyone else? Wait, Councillor Azra.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Since I heard quite a few questions from my residents, I wanted to respond publicly. It is in times like these when as a community we can turn to each other for support and strength. So many residents of our city have loved ones in Israel, some like me, whose children and mother are there. Thank God are safe at the moment. It has been heartening for me to see how our community and city supports each other during horrific and difficult times. I encourage you to continue showing kindness and helping hand, to comforting those that feel fear, to thanking those who work to make sure we are safe, and know that any type of help is help. Whether one can donate money to organizations directly helping in Israel, lend a helping hand to those sending supplies, help someone coordinate a need for a family or friends there, or even lend an ear to comfort another person. Any type of help is help. Thank you.
Merci, Councillor Asarad. Anyone else? No? Okay, so we shall move on. Are everyone in favor of the adoption of the departmental reports? We can't vote on it before the discussion. OK, c'est beau. Tout le monde en faveur? Oui, d'accord, adopté. Alors, je vais passer la parole à Councillor Azrad pour le Financial Information Technology Services 7A, item 7A.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that the loans bylaws mentioned in the first paragraph of the preamble be financed by bonds in accordance with the following conditions. The bonds, one bond per maturity, will be dated October 30th, 2023. Interest will be payable semi-annually on April 30th and October 30th of each year. The bonds will not be redeemable in advance. However, they may be redeemed with the consent of the holders in accordance with the Act regarding municipal debts and loans. The bonds will be registered in the name of the Canadian Depository for Securities Limited and filled with it. CDS will act on behalf of its participants as a registrar for the book-based system, entry agent, and paying officer in charge of the transactions regarding its members. CDS will proceed with the transfer of funds according to the legal requirements of the bonds, and for that purpose, the City of Côte Saint-Luc Council authorizes the city treasurer to sign documents required by the Canadian banking system entitled Autorisation pour le plan de débit préautorisé destiné aux entreprises. CDS will make payments of the principal and the interest to members through electronic funds transfers, and for this purpose, CDS will directly withdraw the required amounts from the following account: Royal Bank of Canada, Cavendish and Kildare Branch, 5755 Cavendish Boulevard, Côte Saint-Luc. That the bonds shall be signed by the mayor and the city treasurer. The City of Côte Saint-Luc, as entitled by law, has mandated CDS to act as its fiscal authenticator agent, and the bonds will only become valid once they have been authenticated. That with regard to the annual capital amortization scheduled for 2029 and subsequent years, the future term of the following loan bylaw numbers 2445, 2447, 2480, 2481, 2485, and 2483 be shorter than the one originally set, i.e. for a term of 5 years as of October 30th, 2023, instead of the term prescribed for said amortizations, each subsequent issue being for the balance of or part of the balance due to the loan.
Thank you very much. Seconded by Councillor Sabag. So basically, we're reissuing the bonds for 5 years?
Yes, so
Okay.
basically, it's like a mortgage, like Steve many times explains. You need to renew your mortgage, even though it's amortized over 25 or 30 years. Every 3, 4, or 5 years, you need to renew it. So we're renewing the bonds here for a period of 5 years.
Right, and it's for a total amount of $3,416,000. They will be awarded to the lowest bidder, whoever does so bid once we go to tender. So all those in favor? Thank you. So that's adopted. And Resolution 7B to approve the disbursements for the month of September 2023. Councillor Azrad.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the attached list of disbursement for the periods of September 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2023 for a total amount of $4,917,272.51 in Canadian funds. That the Treasurer's Certificate number 23-0122 dated October 4th, 2023 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Okay. Seconded by Councillor Schuster. Anything to add?
Yeah, just it's the monthly, it's the disbursements that we do as usual. The big highlights are basically salaries, insurance payments, contractor payments, equipment payments. So nothing out of the ordinary on this one.
Okay, so the total amount is $4,917,272.51. All those in favor? Thank you. Adopted. Human Resources. Councillor Kajewski. Item 8A and 8B.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. There be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the hiring of Selena Tibuchi as an assistant permit agent, permanent full-time white-collar position effective September 5th, 2023. That Treasurer Certificate number 23-0123 dated October 6th, 2023 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses.
Seconded by Councillor Sabag. Any discussion?
It's pretty self-explanatory. I know the department is very happy to hire for this position. They've been trying to fill it for some time.
Right.
And it will help move the permit process along for our residents.
I hope so. Thank you. All those in favor? Adopted. Thank you. Item 8B, Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council ratifies the promotion of Evelyn Vuong to permit agent effective September 18th, 2023. That Treasurer Certificate number 23-0126 dated October 6th, 2023 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses.
Okay, and any seconder, Councillor Sabag? Any discussion?
Again, it's self-explanatory. It's a resolution to promote Evelyn to a full-time permanent position.
Excellent. All those in favor? Count adopted. 8B. Now we go on to 8C and D. Councillor Sabag.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Be resolved that the City of Côte Saint-Luc approves the hiring of Kia Saint-Pierre as a dispatcher, on-call, auxiliary, part-time, white-collar position, effective September 1st, 2023. That the Treasurer Certificate number 23-0124, dated October 6th, 2023, has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Sabag. All those in favor? Thank you. Next is the hiring,
Mitch.
Mitch Kajowski. Yeah.
And just on the last vote, Councillor
Yes.
Azad wasn't here.
All right.
Just a note.
And now we move on to item 8D, hiring of auxiliary part-time dispatcher.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that the City of Côte Saint-Luc approves the hiring of Mike Fwaba as a dispatcher on-call auxiliary part-time white-collar position effective September 7th, 2023, that the treasurer certificate number 230127 dated October 10th, 2023 has been issued by the city treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Kajowski. Any discussion? No? Self-explanatory, part-time dispatcher. All those in favor, 8D? So moved and passed, adopted. Now we move on to Councillor Schuster for item 8E, hiring of white-collar employees.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the hiring of the white-collar auxiliary employees whose names are listed on the document titled Auxiliary Employees White Collars Hiring, dated October 5th, 2023, and that said employees' terms of employment will be as per the conditions of the collective agreement. That treasurer's certificate number 23-0125 dated October 6th, 2023 has been issued by the city treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to discover the above described expenses.
Okay. Seconded by Councillor Sabag. Any discussion?
Just a clarification
Yeah.
that it's essentially a list of lifeguards
Essentially a list of lifeguards. Okay,
or completely a list of lifeguards.
all right. So notwithstanding the complaints, we still have quite a few lifeguards that want to work for the city of Côte Saint-Luc. Okay. So all those in favor? Adopted. Councillor Schuster, thank you. Now we move on to legal services. So this is a resolution to receive the statement of pecuniary interest of Councillor Mike Cohen, who was the first councillor to be, whose mandate was renewed ahead of everyone else's. So Councillor Benizri, s'il vous plaît.
Thank you.
So you can- oui.
Est résolu que le conseil de ville de Côte Saint-Luc déclare officiellement avoir reçu une telle déclaration d'intérêt pécuniaire de la part du conseiller Mike Cohen et ordonne à la greffière de la ville de déposer les dites déclarations aux archives de la ville et d'envoyer le relevé des élus qui ont déposé leur déclaration au ministère des Affaires municipales et de l'Habitation.
Merci, conseiller Benizri, secondé par le conseiller Azerad. This is simply a deposition that has to be made every year. All the councillors will do it au tour de rôle because Councillor Cohen was re-elected by acclamation. He does his first, but next month, the rest of the council will follow. So all those in favor? Thank you. Adopted. Item 9B, resolution of the City of Côte Saint-Luc supporting the introduction of mandatory Holocaust education in Quebec elementary schools. I believe there's many councillors who want to put this forth, but Councillor Cohen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor, and of course, what timing for this announcement. I'm going to read the whole resolution because I think it's that important. Whereas in its 2022 audit of anti-Semitic events, B'nai B'rith Canada, B'nai B'rith Canada's oldest Jewish advocacy organization, nationally active since 1875, noted that there were 2,769 such incidents across Canada during the year, of which 240 were in British Columbia. Whereas Statistics Canada in 222 document released July 27, 2023 on police reported crime in Canada indicated in Table 6 that there were 750 police reported hate crimes targeting religious minorities during 2022, of which 502 or 66.9% were aimed at Jews. Whereas Ontario recently became the first province to introduce mandatory Holocaust education into the elementary school curriculum, whereas in tasking the Ontario College of Teachers to create an age-appropriate curriculum to teach the Holocaust starting in grade 6, Education Minister Stephen Lecce indicated that according to the first study of anti-Semitism and Holocaust knowledge conducted by Western University and Liberation 75 in 2020-21, 42% of students surveyed said they have unequivocally witnessed an anti-Semitic event, whereas the same study also found that 1 in 3 students in Ontario thought the Holocaust was fabricated, exaggerated, or are unsure if it actually happened. Whereas studies in the United States suggest that jurisdictions which make Holocaust education compulsory not only witness a reduction in anti-Semitic incidents, but also see a decline in hate aimed at Blacks and Asians. Whereas a study issued in September 2023 by Reality Check indicates where Holocaust studies begin earlier in school and are mandatory, that Americans with greater Holocaust knowledge displayed heightened warmth towards religious and racial minorities compared with others. Whereas survivors age and pass away, it is more important than ever that our schools play a key role in preserving Holocaust remembrance, thereby protecting children from widespread Holocaust denial and distortion often disseminated online. Whereas Jewish organizations are urging all the provinces and territories to emulate Ontario's example and introduce mandatory Holocaust education in elementary school, it was moved by myself and resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council recognizes the dangers of Holocaust denial and distortion, which so often targets our young people, that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council urges the Ministry of Education to introduce mandatory Holocaust education to Quebec's elementary schools as of the 2024-2025 academic year. The Côte Saint-Luc City Council invites the Ministry of Education to consult Ontario's curriculum and mandate the Conseil supérieur d'éducation and other stakeholders as to how to best introduce this new curriculum and how to provide training for teachers.
Thank you, Councillor Cohn, seconded by Councillor Schuster. Any discussion, Councillor Cohn?
Well, I will start off by saying that the English Montreal School Board, where I'm manager of marketing and communications, adopted such a resolution at our last public meeting just about 2 weeks ago. Other school boards are doing the same, other municipalities. I know for a fact that at our school board, we bring a lot of students to the Holocaust Center, focusing mainly on students from the non-Jewish areas, young people who weren't aware of the Holocaust before. And I can tell you it makes a big difference. And if you just listen to the open line shows right now and read the letters to the editor and all the banter on social media, there's a lot of people watching what happened in Israel and completely flipping over the fact that Hamas caused this entire war and that they went in and murdered innocent Jews because they were Jewish. It was the highest number of Jewish people killed in one day since the Holocaust. And so now more than ever, I think the Quebec government has been right on. Their leaders have spoken out strongly about what happened in Israel and about Hamas and the protests that are going on. So this is very timely, and I hope that city councils in Chicoutimi and Lac Saint Jean and Drummondville and Trois-Rivières, more importantly, pass these resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cohn. Anyone else? So I put it to the vote, resolution to support the introduction of mandatory Holocaust education in Quebec elementary schools. All in favor? Adopted. Thank you very much. Now we'll go on to Public Works. Conseiller Benizri, c'est à vous les items 10A, B et C. Merci.
Merci. Est résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc octroie par la présente un contrat à USD Global Incorporé pour l'achat de 400 bacs bruns à matière compostable pour un montant total de 37 580 $ plus les taxes applicables. Que les dépenses décrites soient financées par le budget opérationnel de la ville, que le certificat du trésorier numéro 23-0120 en date du 4 octobre 2023 a été émis par le trésorier de la ville attestant la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites.
Merci. Appuyé par le conseiller Kujawski, je pense. Oui, d'accord. Alors, any discussion?
just to mention that this is to buy, to award the contract for the purchase of compost bins.
Okay,
And it's part of
the brown
the
bins,
budget.
right. So all those in favor? Item 10A, adopted, thank you. Item 10B, approval of change order for the blue and black bin maintenance services.
Yes. Okay, the page, thank you. Et résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc approuve et ratifie par la présente la liste finale des ordres de changement sous K-92-22 pour l'entretien de la gestion des bacs roulants bleus et noirs et autorise le paiement d'un montant n'excédant pas 45 520 $ plus les taxes applicables à Global USD Incorporé. Que le trésorier de la ville a émis le certificat du trésorier numéro TC 23-0121 le 4 octobre 2023 attestant de la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites.
D'accord, merci. Appuyé par le conseiller Kajavski. Je veux juste souligner, et on l'a mentionné tantôt quand on était en réunion, si vous avez un bac bleu, brun ou noir qui est défectueux, if there's any cracks or any damages, you can call Public Works and it will be replaced at no charge. You just have to make the call and the bins will be replaced. So, or repaired, sometimes repaired if possible. All those in favor of item 10B? So approved, thank you. And now the letter of renewal with regard to the dumping of snow in Côte Saint-Luc. Thank you.
Merci. Et résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc approuve et adopte par la présente la lettre de renouvellement, 11e renouvellement, en vigueur à partir du 17 octobre 2023, laquelle est annexée au procès-verbal comme annexe B, pour faire partie intégrante afin de renouveler l'entente originale que le dépôt de neige en date du 15 mai 2009, tel que modifié par la suite par 10 renouvellements entre la ville de Côte Saint-Luc et la ville de Hampstead pour une période d'une saison hivernale, soit 2023-2024, selon les conditions et modifications énoncées dans le 11e renouvellement, que la conseillère générale de la ville soit autorisée par la présente à signer le 11e renouvellement susmentionné au nom de la ville.
Okay. Appuyé par le conseiller Kajavski. Any discussion?
We
Okay.
didn't vote yet.
So would you, Councillor Cohen, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Yes, I've voted against this for the last number of years, and I will vote against it again. I understand that we have to be a good neighbor. That's the thinking, but the snow dump is already completely full within a month or two of winter, and I think we have to be practical and look that down the line we're not going to be able to accommodate it. Last year, we had to at a certain point make them move to not be able to dump their snow anymore. So I will vote against it again. And I know Mr. Gordon has advocated against it. I wish there was more people sitting with you, Mr. Gordon, in the audience tonight. I know you're very. I hear it from other people, but I think it would have been good to hear from others coming to the meeting as well. But I will go on record as voting against it again.
Okay, any other discussion? Because I want to say something. So with regard to this agreement, we don't have all the details here tonight, but we've had lengthy discussions about this in council. It's been presented by our Public Works Department, and they've made the business case that in fact, all the monies that we receive from the town of Hampstead more than cover the extra costs. Okay, we have now increased the base amount from the previous year by 29%, which represents the city's snow removal contracts price increase, the average percentage by which the price for the rental of the bulldozers and shovels increased compared to 2022, 2023. We increased it by 29%. So the base amount is 28,000 plus an increase of 29%. I don't know what the total is because we had it here last month. If someone can find it for me, but it's going to be close to or over $100,000. Right? Yes. Okay. So we have to take the best interest of the city of Côte Saint-Luc at heart, and it is. I'm not going to argue with Councillor Cohn, but I don't know that the statement he made that it's full within the first 2 months is actually accurate, because that's not the information that we get from our Public Works Department. It's not full in the first 2 months. So we've taken all that into consideration. We've increased the, as I said, we've increased the amount that we are charging the town of Hampstead to cover, and it more than covers, and we will be collecting close to or over $100,000. So given that we still have to have our bulldozers on site, we still have to have the supervision on site, we still have to have all those supervisors and everyone on site to do the work, it's not a hardship on the city of Côte Saint-Luc. On the contrary, it's a benefit. And so I'm not arguing with you. I am making a statement. And that is the reason why we are putting this project forward and continuing the relationship with the town of Hampstead. So I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And all those against? 2 against. Thank you very much.
Am I able to add one last comment? I know we just did the
After the
vote.
vote,
Yeah, I just wanted to respond to something you said. I probably, when I said, I guess it was per capita, you know, after a couple of months, I think that after a couple of months, we could see where we're headed. So yes, I did misspeak when I said after 2 months, it's almost full, but it's very full. Usually by the time we get to January and we can see where we're headed. So I just wanted
well,
to.
when it's full, then the Public Works Department shuts it down. I mean, we have very strict rules in our
Yes,
agreement.
it wouldn't be full as soon if we didn't have their snow going in there. It's a mountain. It is a ski hill.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you. I think the vote was taken. It was adopted by majority, and this item is now resolved. So we'll move on to item 11A, which is Urban Development, Urban Planning Division. Mitch Kajavsky, please, you can move these items. 11A.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. All right. Be it resolved that in conformity with the Act respecting land use and development, CQLR Chapter A-19.1, the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby adopts the second draft bylaw number 2217-NNN-P2 entitled Bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw number 2217 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc in order to adjust norms pertaining to exterior siding materials, mechanical equipment, landscaping, ground cover, and other provisions.
So moved and seconded by Councillor Schuster. So I believe this is exactly the reference to the bylaw for which we had a public consultation. Okay, do you want to make any comments, Councillor
I
Kajavsky?
know you probably want to comment, Dita, if you want to.
Okay,
wanna
so
speak to it?
what I just wanted to say is what I said earlier this evening, that these new regulatory provisions are very much, in response to the residents. And so, we are a very responsive council. Oh, sorry, am I on? This is in response to the residents. So some residents have painted their brick or masonry in ways that they should not have. So now we are going to have strict rules, and those rules will have to be respected. Then there's a better framework for ground covers. Some residents wanted to put some synthetic grass, and so we have set up a better framework for ground cover and the greening of properties, namely by adjusting certain provisions relating to landscaping, synthetic grass, and pathways. These are all issues that come up on a regular basis, and so now we've resolved them. And then the third and most important is the authorization of generators. I know in my district and in other districts as well, we've had lots of requests for generators because of the power outages. So now we allow generators under certain conditions, under very strict conditions, but conditions nonetheless. And we also clarified the wording of the bylaw with regard to other inconsistencies. So anyone else want to add anything with regard to this bylaw?
I think generators is next, I think. That's in.
No, this is
that correct?
generators.
2593, or is generators in?
This is in 2217.
Right.
Okay, so all those in favor? That's wonderful. Thank you very much. So it's adopted. And the next item is bylaw 11B, which is amending the construction bylaw.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. I do stand corrected. The noise is in 2590. There we go. Right. Most important factor of the generators.
Yeah.
All right. Be it resolved that in conformity with the Act respecting land use and development, CQLR Chapter 8-19.1, the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby adopts the second draft bylaw number 2593-1, entitled Bylaw to amend the construction bylaw number 2593 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc in order to add provisions pertaining to solid fuel burning, renovictions, and noise related to mechanical equipment.
Thank you, and seconded by Councillor Schuster. Anybody want to, any discussion? No? All right, so this, again, this bylaw is in response to many requests that we have from residents with regard to renovictions. That is that we are protecting tenants who would be temporarily relocated during renovation work. So that's one thing. This is following the lead of the town of Hampstead, which was the inspiration for part of this bylaw. The second thing that we're doing here is we are including the levels of noise for mechanical equipment such as
Generators.
generators and also the
Pool equipment, pool equipment,
pool
air
equipment,
conditioning.
air conditioning equipment and pumps. We never had strict, or we never had like, very strict rules regarding the noise levels. Now we have guidelines and noise levels to allow residents to, to really be respectful of their neighbors. And that's an important issue. And the other, so we're dealing with the wood burning stoves as well. We were not in sync with the rest of the island of Montreal. Now we are. And slowly we will be enforcing this bylaw. I think there's a period of grace up until 2025 for residents to comply. So these are all things that are included in this bylaw. And again, it's in response to the residents' daily issues, and that's what a city has to do. So all those in favor? Item 11B, thank you, it's adopted. And the final bylaw in this section, no, not the final, the second to last, okay, is bylaw 2616 entitled Bylaw on Conditional Uses. Who would like to do that? Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Just next to the resolution here. That's what Schechter. What page is the resolution on, please? So I keep whipping by it. Okay, I blew by it. Here we go. Okay, here we go. 299 or 290, 298?
299. 299.
Yeah, I don't have it in this version.
I don't know how that's possible, but okay.
That's it. Yeah, missing that page. Weird. Okay. Thank you, Councillor Schuster. Be it resolved that in conformity with the Act respecting land use and development, CQLR Chapter A-19.1, the City of Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby adopts the second draft bylaw number 2616 to be entitled Bylaw on Conditional Uses.
Okay. Seconded by Councillor Schuster. So once again, any discussion?
That's the bylaw on conditional uses is zoning specific areas in certain districts for institutional use.
For religious purposes, yes.
Correct.
Okay, so we had a consultation, I believe, on
We did.
this subject last month, and there was a lot of input. We took all that into account, and one of the things that we added to the bylaw is the notion that the non-conforming religious uses that are existing at the time of the adoption of the bylaw would have 180 days. That's the amendment that we made. Let me just, that we would have, they would have 180 days in order to file the application for the, to render their places of worship conforming to the bylaw. They don't have to fulfill the whole application within 180 days, but they have to at least file it within 180 days. And that, in a sense, will help us to regulate the non-conforming uses that are in these 4 zones. And with regard to the other zones where there are still existing non-conforming uses, we have directed our urban planning department to apply the rules, and with, of course, a period of grace. So this should go a long way in resolving some of the tensions that we had in these areas. And we hope that this conditional use bylaw will be well received by all concerned.
And I also believe that there was a request to add signage too.
Right. Okay. So there's no further discussion. Put this bylaw to the vote. Bylaw 2616 to be entitled Bylaw on Conditional Uses. All those in favor? Unanimously adopted. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. And so now we move on to the Councillor Schuster. Excellent. So now we move on to the resolution to appoint members of PAC. Councillor Kajewski.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that the following people be appointed as members of the Planning Advisory Committee of the City of Côte Saint-Luc. Me, Councillor Mitchell Kajewski, returning member and chairperson to your term November 2023 to November 2025. Councillor Dita Burku, Deputy Mayor Dita Burku, returning member to your term November 2023 to November 2025. Councillor Andy Schuster, returning member to your term November 2023 to November 2025. Residents, Mrs. Laura Azulay, architect, returning member to your term November 2023 to November 2025. Mr. Barry Jaslowitz, architect, returning member to your term November 2023 to November 2025. That the following person is appointed as substitute member on the Planning Advisory Committee. Councillor Leor Azarad, returning member to your term November 2023 to November 2025.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Schuster. I just want to add that Councillor Azarad is more than a substitute because he regularly comes to the meetings and it's very much appreciated. So all those in favor? Thank you. Adopted. And we move on to item 5559 Pinedale. So Councillor Kajewski, I think that Darrell Levine is going to post the site plans on the screen and we'll be able to follow. So the first item on the urban planning agenda is site planning and architectural integration program for 5559 Pinedale, item 11.1.1.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Go down to page 337. I don't know if you're on the same version there. Showing the two side by side, the proposal on the right. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Be it resolved that the site planning and architectural integration program showing front facade modifications to a detached single-family dwelling on lot 2090214 at 5559 Pinedale and prepared by Ariel Aron Architect for the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of September 12th, 2023, be approved according to the provisions of Chapter 14 of Bylaw 2217 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc.
Okay, seconded by Counselor Schuster? Oh, okay, sure, go for it. All those in favor? So that's approved. Next item is 6527 Wallenberg. Counselor Kajewski.
You, Madam Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that, oops, no, I went by it. Be it resolved that the site planning and architectural integration program showing front facade modifications to a detached single-family dwelling on lot 1560829 at 6527 Wallenberg and prepared by CCJOD Inc. for the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of September 12th, 2023, be approved according to the provisions of Chapter 14 of Bylaw 2217 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc.
Thank you. Seconded by Counselor Schuster. Any discussion?
Pretty straightforward facade modifications, nothing too drastic here, just a nice improvement to the home.
Okay, all those in favor? Thank you. Adopted by majority, I guess. I don't know, one counselor absent. I don't know if Counselor Sabag wants to come back for Abraham DeSola or what the situation is there, but Counselor Kajewski, you can advance the resolution.
We'll read slowly.
11.1.3.
Okay, thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that the site planning and architectural integration program showing the installation of a freestanding sign for the multifamily building on lot 2888871 and prepared by Sign Network Architectural Products, Inc. for the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of August 8th, 2023, be approved according to the provisions of Chapter 14 of Bylaw 2217 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc.
Thank you. Seconded by Counselor Schuster. So any discussion? This is a freestanding sign. The first one was rejected. This one is approved.
A nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
So the sign that was not approved was originally installed, and they now have made the requested modifications that PAC demanded. And I know that Councillor Seabag is happy with the adjustments made to the sign.
Okay. Thank you very much. All those in favor? All the vote. Thank you. That's adopted. Now we move on to the minor exemptions. Abraham DeSola again, 11.2.1.
Okay, thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of Bylaw G18-0005, the request for a minor exemption regarding the property located at 6801 Abraham DeSola, lot 288-8871, be and is hereby approved, the whole as more amply delineated hereunder. The request is to allow the installation of a freestanding sign in front of the existing multifamily dwelling that contains additional information, including the words Location Prestige Rentals, a website address, and a telephone number, instead of identifying only the name and address of multifamily dwelling. The whole notwithstanding the provisions of zoning bylaw number 2217, Article 9-1-3J.
Okay, seconded by Counselor Schuster. All those in favor? Approved. Item 11.2.2 and item 11.2.3 are deferred to the December 11th, 2023 council meeting. You want to adopt a resolution? Okay, so who wants to put forth that resolution. Can I do that or? Okay, so I'm proposing that we defer items 11.2.2 and 11.2.3 to the council meeting of December 11th, 2023, seconded by Councillor Kajewski. All those in favor? Adopted. Thank you. And the final item is item 11.2.4, 6832 Holland.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of bylaw G18-0005, the request for a minor exemption regarding the property located at 6832 Holland, lot 1561607, be and is hereby approved, the whole as more amply delineated hereunder. The request is to allow the construction of a balcony in the rear yard with a maximum encroachment of 17 feet into the rear setback instead of the maximum permitted encroachment of 10 feet into the rear setback, with a space under the said balcony to be enclosed and used as a basement room and to project by a maximum of 12 feet inside the minimum rear yard instead of a maximum of 8 feet, and to be built at a minimum of 0 feet from the south edge of the balcony instead of the minimum required distance of 1 foot from the edge of said balcony. The whole notwithstanding the provisions of zoning bylaw number 2217 Annex B, Zone RU-34, Article 4-4-2, 4-3, 4-4-3, and Article 4-4-5A.
That's a mouthful.
Yes.
Seconded by Councillor Sabag. Benizri, pardon. Alors, tout le monde en faveur? Est-ce que vous êtes tous en faveur? All in favor? Thank you. So it's adopted. That's Holland. And the final item on the agenda, Councillor Sabag, is the stance at the Aglo.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor, that the council take the following stance in view of any agglomeration council meetings to be held in November 2023 as follows: to authorize the mayor or his duly authorized replacement to make any decisions he deems necessary and in the best interest of the city of Côte Saint-Luc and its residents regarding the items on the agenda of the agglomeration council meeting to be held in November 2023 based on information to be presented during those meetings.
Seconded by Councillor Azarad. I want to say something to this item for the record, and I hope that it's going to get picked up as well by the media. The City of Montreal, and this is going to come up at the Aglo meeting on Thursday, October 19th. Even though this stance resolution is for November, but I just, I feel that it's connected. So the City of Montreal announced last week that it was going to have a surplus of 40 million. This number is completely and totally inaccurate. They will not have a surplus of 40 million. They will in fact have a deficit of 51 million. And this is a constant, repeated effort to mislead and misinform. And I'm going to bring it up at the council meeting on Thursday, because what they don't take into account is that there is an $87 million deficit that has to be paid retroactive to 2022 or 21 actually, and that it's going to be paid by the end of the year. And once they pay off that $87 million deficit, the budgets, if all stays as it is for the budget of 2023, that will result in a $51 million deficit for 2023. And that's why the City of Montreal announced that they're going to go into these extreme cost-cutting measures, because they want to have so-called surplus in order to adjust the budget going forward for 2024. They want to have a little cushion, but there ain't going to be no cushion, because again, they're pushing the deficit. And the reason they're pushing this deficit is because they always underestimate the cost of the police, the cost of the public security. And this is an ongoing structural deficit that has to be fixed at the City of Montreal and the agglomeration. So just wanted to make that statement that I'm definitely going to bring that up the Aglo meeting on Thursday. So with that, I call the vote on the resolution. All those in favor of the stance of the Aglo, thank you very much. And now it's the second question period. Oh, other business? Sorry, I don't have the full agenda. Other business? Anybody have other business? Oh, you do. Go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'd just like to take a moment because we've touched upon the topic of the war in Israel quite a few times and anti-Semitism as well. I just want to address the fact that Côte Saint-Luc is often called a Jewish city, which I believe it to be a misnomer. We are a friendly city and community that has a lot of Jewish people, but we also have Italians and Persians and Russians and a Black community and a Filipino community and many others as well that I won't mention. So I want to, of course, have peace among all our communities, but I want to just address my comments to the non-Jewish residents and employees and colleagues and friends that I have been blessed this week with colleagues that have non-Jewish colleagues that have reached out to me and asked me the question, are you okay? How are you feeling? Can I give you a hug? And just showed real sensitivity. Not everybody. Some people are very afraid to reach out and ask some of these questions. But I do urge people that don't identify as Jewish to reach out to Jewish friends and colleagues and check on each other, check on your neighbors, and check on your extended family in Côte Saint-Luc and elsewhere. So I just wanted to take a moment to address that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Schuster. We have a second question period. Are there any questions? We don't receive questions from the live feed anymore, so there's no one in the audience has any questions. I'll call for the adjournment.
So it'd be moved.
So moved. Councillor Sabag is moving to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor? Thank you. And seconded by Councillor Kujawski. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.